thanks to the folks that have joined us. We're gonna still have maybe 2-3 minutes more to give the space to another folks to join us. Thank you again. Okay, so I think now we're just ready to start our session, our coffee break today. We have Jessica Bajohr. She's a chiropractor and also an online wellness coach. And today we're gonna be talking about tips of how to sleep better. And these days, that's a very important topic. So we hope you enjoy this session and feel free to make any questions or any tips that you also have. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you again for having me again this week. I'm going to talk to you today, from a perspective from a chiropractor, because I get this question a lot, like every day. And then also from the perspective of a health and wellness coach. So usually I like to have a little bit of participation, not that I'm going to denounce that or anything like that, but if you have any questions coming up along what I have to say, just go ahead and put it in the chat box. I'm going to reserve to the end to do basically a Q&A, just because I want to make sure that I get through all of the material. Okay. So, tips for better sleep. First of all, I want to go ahead and ask, how many of you, I would assume by the high attendance that we have here, that this is a suffering, you guys suffer a lot from maybe not getting some good quality sleep. So I'm going to go over in this particular lesson a little bit of different scenarios as far as different sleep problems, and then I'm going to go through 5 steps to help achieve a better sleep. First of all, I want to ask, how many of you get enough sleep to begin with? How many of you get enough? So if you look under the standard of what enough sleep is, it's supposed to be 7 or 8 hours of sleep. So how many of you get at least 7 or 8 hours of sleep a night? I'd love to know that. So why is sleep important? Well, obviously energy, duh. We want to have more energy. That's why sleep is also important. But a lot of us, we don't really realize how important it is. So if you're not getting enough sleep, your body is going to sense this as a stress, as a threat. So this can kind of seep down to many other different things. It's going to seep into hormonal imbalance, specifically for women in particular. And I'm talking to women because, yes, I'm a health and wellness coach, but that is also what I gear towards, is women and hormones. And as a female, we are just, our endocrine system is just more delicate. So any little thing here and there is going to throw things out of balance. Men are more resilient because if you think of it from an evolutionary standpoint, they were the ones that went out and got the food. They were the ones that went and fought and all that stuff. We were the ones that had to stay home, to protect the children, or if we were pregnant. So that is the reason why, we have more of a delicate system. So not getting enough sleep can throw off your hormones. It also is going to affect your gut health. So gut health is just a whole topic that I'm not going to even get into. But this also affects our hormones. It affects also the neurotransmitters, which are the chemical messengers that are in our body, specifically the ones that make us feel good. So maybe you have heard of serotonin, that's like that feel-good chemical. Majority of that neurotransmitter actually lives in our gut, and that can be depleted by lack of stress. So it also helps with our brain health. Just in general, when you have more rest, you feel more focused, you feel like you can concentrate. And then a lack of sleep can actually drive cravings. So that is also because we just tend to grab sugary foods, candy, sweets, carbohydrates, because it is a quick form of energy. So if you're experiencing a lot of cravings, specifically in the afternoons, like after lunch, then this more likely is going to be a result of this lack of sleep. So some common sleep problems is, number one, it could possibly be just like an underlying respiratory problem, specifically if you have sinus issues, if you are snoring, those of you that might have sleep apnea. So this tends to affect people who are overweight. If you think that you have any of these things, even if you're a snorer, this is something that you should definitely get checked out, because even if you're getting those 7-8 hours of sleep, it's not good quality sleep. So you won't be waking up feeling rested. And actually, people who have sleep apnea, it's very, very stressful on the heart. So if you think that you have any kind of snoring or sleep apnea problems, I would definitely get like a sleep study and get investigated in that, because there's a whole treatment plan associated with that. Now I have a lot of people that maybe particularly during this time have difficulty falling asleep in general, just due to anxiety or just thoughts going around and round. How many of you experience this particular problem, having a difficulty falling asleep? So there's another thing. Even if you don't have anxious thoughts, you get this like sudden burst of energy. I'm going to go over that really quickly. That's also very common. I see that also with women that I coach. Frequent waking. That is when you have no problem falling asleep whatsoever, but you tend to toss and turn. So this could be a musculoskeletal problem, like if you have pain that's actually waking you up, like a back pain or a neck pain or something like that. I get patients that come in my office that complain that they didn't sleep well because of their pain. But if you don't have any pain, if you just find it yourself that you wake up real quick and then you're constantly tossing and turning, I see this again with women that have a hormonal imbalance. And this is usually related to stress or low progesterone, because progesterone is the hormone that makes you feel calm. It gives us that deep REM sleep. So women that are experiencing some hormonal issues, they might be experiencing this problem as well. So as far as this burst of energy, I just want to check, because I do see already a lot of questions coming on in here about this. People are saying, me. Oh yeah, if you have a child and they sleep with you, that's just another whole problem. Like I completely understand the co-sleeping kind of thing. I have a 5-year-old, almost 6, and like she still wakes up and comes to my room. So I get that often with patients that are like, I didn't sleep well because I have a toddler or I have a baby that's sleeping with me. So you know, that's something that I can't really help you with. So yes. So someone who maybe has trouble falling asleep at night, not necessarily due to like anxiety or any kind of thoughts that are wheeling around. So I just want to go really quickly over this. This is something that I could do a whole topic over as well. This is something that I help specifically women who have hormonal issues. But in general, you have what's called a natural cortisol rhythm. So we always think of cortisol, we always think of it as a bad thing, like it's the stress hormone, and we always think that that's bad, but cortisol is good for us in a way. It's just as long as it's not too high or not too low. Because what it is that we have this little kind of peak, and you can see on the timeline, we have like a little peak around 7 or 8 a.m. This is normal because it helps us get up. It helps us wake up and get going throughout the day. And then we tend to have another kind of like little increase that's not really shown here after lunch. But then it tends to drop all the way down around like 9, 10 p.m. because this is when we're supposed to like wind down and go to sleep. Now, what I see with a lot of women who specifically have a lot of stress, and they don't listen to their bodies very well, they can get this kind of abnormal rhythm where their cortisol is so low literally all day long, which is why they have a difficult time getting up in the morning, just feeling tired all day long. And then literally when it's time to finally go to sleep, when you're really like, yes, finally my bedtime, you're like laying there with a burst of energy. Like you could just all of a sudden do some chores. I don't know if this affects you, but go ahead and put that in the chat box. If you get this tiredness all day long and then all of a sudden I'm awake, this means that your cortisol rhythm is completely out of whack. And so you might have heard these terms before. You can use adrenal burnout. You can use adrenal fatigue. If you bring this up to your doctor, they're probably gonna have no idea what you're talking about. This is more in like the health and wellness space. It definitely exists. But this is kind of what I help women also with, as far as kind of getting back to this normal rhythm again. So you feel more energy and you start sleeping better. So those are some of the common sleep problems. And I'm going to go through some 5 steps, like I said, to kind of help deal with all of this. So number 1 is pretty easy. You want to create what's called your bat cave. You want to have complete, absolute darkness in your room. So that might require getting blackout curtains. My particular curtains, they are so transparent, like every single light kind of comes through here, and I live right here in Abarcans too, so it's like all the billboard lights are like shining through. So I have like an actual old-fashioned eye mask, which works just as well. But it's not just about the light that comes into your windows. You also want to make sure that you're not getting any artificial lights that might be emitting from electronics in your room. So that's like even like the tiny little lights that come from your charger, from your phones, or from an alarm clock. I don't know if anyone really uses alarm clocks anymore. A good example would be like a fire alarm, if you have like a little tiny, tiny light. So you want to cover those up. You actually want to put like a piece of tape or something like that. So probably many of you have heard about how bad blue lights are, which is the lights that is emitted from like computers and your phone and stuff like that. Well, I was looking into the research, and I found that now they're really not sure. Like, of course, they're like, I don't know if it's so bad, but they definitely agree that artificial lights that come from stuff like this are actually worse than the blue lights. So if you guys are on the computer all day, I don't think it hurts to be wearing blue light glasses. You know, you can buy them for like $10 on Amazon. So I know that you guys are on the computer all day long. This would definitely help you if you're, especially if you're having sleep issues, to be using maybe some blue light glasses just to kind of help block that. And then you also want to shut down your electronics at least like an hour before your bed. So like no more mindless scrolling before. Maybe pick up a book, or you know, turn off the TV, and we're going to talk about some other things that you can do as like kind of a winding down nighttime routine. So step 2 is to establish some type of nighttime routine. So this is going to be up to you and like what you want to do, but it really is best to go to bed at the same time every night and to wake up at the same time every morning as much as possible. So in your guys' kind of, you know, job, that's pretty simple. I've worked with people who, you know, were nurses, for example, that their schedule was like all over the place. It was really difficult for them to do that. But specifically, even on the weekends, you kind of want to try to keep the same amount of same bedtime every single night if you can. Now, 10 p.m., I don't know if you guys think this is early or late, but 10 p.m. is actually the ideal bedtime, because between 10 and 12 p.m. is like actually the best quality sleep, or I believe it was 10 to 1 a.m. is the best quality of sleep. Meaning, as if you could go to bed at 10 and you did your 7 hours of sleep, let's say you went to bed at 10 and then you got up at 6 a.m., you would have a better quality of sleep than if you went to bed at 1 in the morning and you slept all the way until like 9. So it doesn't really matter the amount of time in this particular instance. It's really the time that you go to. And I forget honestly what the actual science is, but it has to do with our natural circadian rhythm. So some other things that might help you kind of wind down if you do have difficulty falling asleep at night. I like to use lavender essential oils, so you can do that in a diffuser. I have an actual pillow spray I was going to bring in, I forgot. I have this pillow spray that I spray sometimes on my pillow, and it has lavender in it, and it smells so good, and it really is very relaxing. You can also try doing like a little quick yoga, like a 5-minute yoga or stretching routine, if that kind of helps you calm down. And then the last tip here, this is for my people who do suffer from anxious thoughts, anxiety, or just kind of like that wheel that's like constantly turning. It's hard to be going all day long and then like kind of turn that off. So journaling, or what I call brain dump, is very, very helpful. So keeping like a notebook or like a journal next to your bed. If you find yourself just thinking these thoughts over again, without thinking about it, you just dump everything that's on your brain onto a piece of paper. If that has to do with the things you have to do the next day, making a simple to-do list really helps. Saying like, okay, this is what I need to do tomorrow, writing it down, taking that step, it's going to be better than having those thoughts just kind of going around and round and round, and it's going to be keeping you up. So this is very, very helpful if this is your particular problem. As far as step 3, I know some of you guys are going to hate me for this one, limiting your caffeine after 12. So I know that studies say, I think it's like 5 hours that your caffeine stays in your body, but it's like half the amount of caffeine stays for 5 hours. The other half stays for a lot longer, especially if you are a regular coffee drinker. Now, if you don't have any problems with this, like you can ignore step 3, but if you have issues going to sleep, if you're tired all day long, like I was talking about earlier with that cortisol, abnormal rhythm, and then all of a sudden you get that burst of energy, usually caffeine is the cause of this. So this is something that used to affect me personally, and it really feels like counterintuitive, but like I would wake up feeling exhausted, so obviously I needed a cup of coffee. Then I needed to be productive all day long, so I would have like 2 or 3 more cups of coffee. I would have my last one maybe around 3 p.m. just to get me through, like after that lunch. But it's when you don't listen to your body and when you're pushing it that you're overexerting those adrenal glands. So believe it or not, cutting down on the coffee, I mean, in the beginning it was horrible. I could save that whole experience for another lecture as far as like how I was able to detox from that. But, you know, switching to at least decaf in the afternoon, or even some tea that has a little bit less caffeine, you know, doing it slowly will be better off for you. But just having, you know, 1 cup of coffee per day if this is your particular issue. Okay, so step 4 is a particular breathing technique, which is called 4-7-8. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's just a simple breathing technique that you can do. And people who use it say that they fall asleep in 1 to 2 minutes. Like, it's that quick. So what you want to do, and this is very, very simple, if you can just remember the numbers 4-7-8, is that you're going to take a deep breath in through your nose for 4 counts. And then you hold your breath for 7. And then when you breathe out, you're going to breathe out through your mouth 8 of those counts. And when you do so, you're going to keep the tongue at the roof of your mouth, and loosely at the roof of your mouth. And then you do that as many times as possible. So apparently, I think I've used this once or twice, and I can't tell you how fast I slept, but I know that it works. But that's what the research says, is that you are able to fall asleep in 1 or 2 minutes. So this is very helpful for you if you have also difficulty falling asleep. So this one, I feel like you guys are going to have a lot of questions for me, as far as this is like my chiropractic standpoint of like how you should sleep, what kind of mattress. I know you're going to ask me that. What kind of pillow should I do? All of those kinds of things. So really, I'm going to tell you that the worst position for sleep is boca abajo. Like, you do not want to be sleeping face down. That is the worst for your back. It's worse for your neck. Sleeping face up is ideal, or on your side, because what you want is generally like a neutral position. So this particular picture, this is of someone with like a pillow in between their knees, or they can put it underneath their knees as well. I always recommend patients who have back pain, if they have difficulty sleeping, to do that, specifically people who are unable to sleep boca arriba, because when you put this pillow under here, it's going to take the slack off of your back, that natural curvature. So it's going to loosen up that a little bit better and put you a little bit more into flexion. As far as pillows is concerned, 1 pillow only. You do not want to have 2, 3 pillows placed upon your neck so that you're stretching it like this. You want to have 1 pillow. I know some people who don't use pillows at all. those are usually the people that lay on their stomachs, and they shouldn't be laying on their stomachs. So, I mean, it's up to you. If you prefer that, without a pillow, go ahead. I don't really have a specific pillow to recommend. The one that I have that I love is Brookstone, and they're not open here in Puerto Rico anymore. So I know that people enjoy the memory foam ones that are at Costco. I've also heard really good things from, believe it or not, that infomercial, My Pillow, that they sell them in like see it on TV, even in like Walgreens and Walmart. I've heard some really good things about those particular pillows. We also used to sell in our office a water-based pillow called Cairo Flow. We stopped selling them because they sell them on Amazon, and it's just, they were cheaper. So it was like no sense of selling them in the office. But those are a water-based pillow. Those are also really good. I used that for also several years. As far as the best mattress, this is really going to be dependent on your preference. So is firm better? Is soft better? I think that something middle of the road is the best, if not more firm. When you have this soft, almost like pillow top mattress, there's no support in it whatsoever. So really like a firm mattress, middle to firm, is really more ideal. I used to have a Tempur-Pedic, and it didn't need a box spring, and I started getting a lot of back pain from it, believe it or not. And what fixed the problem was I ended up buying a gypsum board, like a simple gypsum board, and put it underneath the bottom of my mattress, and that was also super helpful. Now I have, believe it or not, the box mattress from Costco. And it's awesome. I absolutely love it. I was searching for a new mattress. I was actually at Sears. It was like right before the quarantine too. And even the guy that was at Sears was like, oh yeah, the going from Costco, and that's an excellent, like he totally sold me out of that, even buying a mattress from him. So, and I'm really glad that I listened to it, because I ended up loving it, and it was a really, really good price as well. Let me see, let me check the comments. So I see that you guys have a lot here. Let me go back up. What about watching TV in bed? If I don't, I can't fall asleep. I heard it's bad, but wanted to hear your opinion. Well, Enrique, like, do you have bad sleep? Do you toss and turn? Do you wake up feel refreshed? I mean, just because you heard a study said it was bad, if you're not having any issues, I don't see anything wrong with that. I used to be the same way. I used to like only be able to fall asleep to watch TV. It might be something to have to do with like white noise kind of thing, like needing noise in background. I no longer have a TV, believe it or not, in my room anymore, just for that pure matter that I wanted to like stop that. And so I did that. But I know that a lot of people need like a kind of, like I said, like a white noise, like even the sound of an air conditioner for some people, that humming is really good for them. It has to do with something like almost like when we were in the womb, because like for a couple of years when my daughter, we used to use like a white noise machine for her, and she used to sleep amazing because of that machine. So I guess it really depends on if you have any sleep issues. Let's see, any questions? Someone wrote, oh, you wrote like taking a bath. Yeah, that's actually a really good one for you if you have difficulty winding down. Taking like a bath before bed, if that helps relax you, or if you feel tired or your muscles are kind of sore, to kind of loosen things up. You guys, I think, are making just comments. I'm pretty sure it's about like the no coffee break in the afternoon. Someone wrote, if I take a cold shower, my sleep goes away. Yeah, I feel like I'm really surprised. I would say like a warm shower and would be more relaxing. A cold shower would definitely wake me up as well. Some people have wrote that they drink coffee at 4, they have no problems. Yeah, like I've had people that told me that coffee makes them sleepy, and I don't know how that works. A rolled up towel will work just as well as pillows. Just a lot of comments. Memory foam mattress. Yeah, I've heard good things about that as well. Memory foam is fine. Like I said, I just haven't had good experiences with like a pillow top, very soft mattress, because they don't provide any support for the spine. Like they feel great, like a cloud when you lay on it initially, but after like an hour or more of sleep, they aren't really the best. And people have also asked me about the pillows that already have that curvature into it. That's for your neck. I do not like those either. Those are for like the average neck. And if most of us don't even have a curvature in our neck, that would make us feel sore. Chamomile, yes, this is great. Chamomile tea is really good. I recommend that also to clients that experience nighttime cravings or like unnecessary snacking at night. Again, having that go all day long, and then when we come home and try to relax, it's sometimes really hard for us to just like sit still. So like chamomile tea is really, really helpful. Sleepy time tea as well. Do you guys have any questions at all?
What about any sleep supplements? Have you heard about like melatonin or?
Yes, I don't know why I forgot to put this on here. I think I was going to put it in and I totally forgot. Yeah, melatonin is also really effective for sleeping at night. So if this is also one of your issues, taking that would be very helpful. Do you already take it?
I take something, I don't take it consistently, but I take something called bed rest formula.
Yes.
The brand is Pure Encapsulations, and so it has melatonin in it, and then a few other things. It has like chamomile and hops. But my biggest issue is waking up, and once I wake up in the middle of the night, it's kind of all downhill from there. I don't have an issue falling asleep. Like that's pretty consistent, pretty normal for me. But if I wake up, it's so hard to go back to sleep.
Yeah, if you're having that issue, I would definitely get your hormones checked out, like get a full panel to have like your progesterone and like your estrogen levels checked.
Okay.
Because it could possibly be that. If there's some other signs and symptoms also that are also, they don't have to be these crazy symptoms. It can be these kind of generic stuff, but if they're all kind of together, it could definitely do that. You can reach out to me separately and ask me, some questions just in case you have some other things you want to talk to me about instead.
Sure.
But that usually could be a sign of, like I said, low progesterone, especially if it's not all the time. If it's like a certain time of the month, like a certain cycle, then that would be another thing too.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Someone wrote, I have both issues to fall asleep, toss and turn, waking up in the middle of the night. Okay, well, do you have issues tossing and turning because of like anxious thoughts? Is it pain, or is it just kind of, you're not really sure, it's not determined?
Well, sometimes it's just back pain, and some other is just like maybe anxious thoughts, like stuff that I need to do the other day, or like it's kind of difficult for me to like stop thinking about any stuff, and then I just I wake up and then I'm not able to sleep again.
Yeah. So again, I would just like follow all the things that I talked about, as far as is doing what you can to brain dump your thoughts. So if you're thinking about things that you need to do or things that are going on, I would journal before you go to sleep, as far as making a to-do list and setting it in a priority, as far as, what is the top priority. Because sometimes we have so many things we need to do and there's not enough time. So like listing them in a priority order. Trying maybe the melatonin supplements that we just talked about. Doing if it's back pain, then obviously, you know, getting an adjustment for one, getting regular chiropractic care definitely helps with that, and then you will have less pain. If you haven't flipped your mattress, I didn't discuss that either. Flipping the mattress and rotating it, that could also be it. But if you're waking up due to back pain, it's either you have an issue musculoskeletal that needs to be aligned, or it's like your actual bed is not up to par.
Yeah, I actually do have some issues like musculoskeletal. So yes,
Yeah.
but sorry, I usually
Definitely call and make an appointment, because that will definitely help you out. I have so many patients that come in and they're like, oh my God, I slept so good last night for the first time ever, because they, you know, had just gotten an adjustment. Someone said they tried using a sleeping aid, such as Panadol PM, but in the morning, yeah, that's like drugging yourself. But melatonin doesn't work. Well, that's a bummer. Yeah, Panadol PM, I've taken that once or twice. It makes me feel groggy the next day. That's hard. She has a book to write everything if I wake up. Yes, that's so basically similar to what I just said, as far as like if you wake up and you have these thoughts, if you didn't journal it like right before going to bed, having it by your bed, if you wake up and you're unable to fall asleep because of these thoughts, just grab your notebook and literally write down what you're thinking. That should definitely help. I'm pregnant and having trouble sleeping. What do you recommend? Oh, you have to get My Best Friend, I think it's called. No, not My Best Friend. It was like My Pillow. No, I forget what it's called, but it was like a big ass-shaped pillow. That is very, very helpful. Did you ever try doing that? It doesn't work. Okay. Do you have pain? Is that why you're having trouble sleeping?
Yes, usually in the stomach area, I do have problems, and then I get up thinking all the issue that is going on today, of course, with the virus and everything, but I'm having a lot of trouble sleeping.
Is it because of like anxiety, or like you're feeling uncomfortable?
Both.
Okay, how far along are you?
Right now, I'm about 5 months.
Okay, so I mean, if it's because of the anxiety of what's going on right now and all of those things, I would definitely do the recommendations as far as the journaling, and even doing like the lavender essential oils. Like you can do all of those things. Obviously, you don't want to take any kind of supplement right now.
Correct.
Because you're pregnant, but you can do all of the other things. Taking a warm bath. Journaling is really, really helpful. I don't know if you ever went to my session that I did about relieving anxiety. Did you attend that?
Yes.
Okay, so I hope that any of that, you know, going back to any of those strategies that I shared, as far as like pain in your stomach, I'm not really able to like diagnose you with what's going on with that. If it's actual back pain, you know, just because you're pregnant doesn't mean you can't get chiropractic. We adjust pregnant women all the time, all the way up I got adjusted like the day before I gave birth, and I was like 41 weeks. So we have tables that accommodate to pregnant women, and it's completely safe. So maybe even coming in and getting alignment, that might also help, because, you know, chiropractic also helps with stress. You know, it definitely relieves muscle tension as well. So that, you know, maybe that will also help. Okay,
thank you.
Okay. If you have any other questions, you can stay and ask me. If not, you know, we're all set. If you want, here is my contact information as far as like my email. You can email me, or you can also go on Instagram or Facebook and send me a private message if you have any other questions.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. So the ones that have questions for Jess, she will stay for a little bit more, I guess, and answer that questions. Thanks everyone again for joining.
Thank you so much.
Is there any other question?
Yeah.
Oh.
No? Okay.
Great. Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Jess.
Yeah, thank
sure.
you. All right. Keep me posted.
Jess, I
if you need
need
anything.
to tell you that we process the payments until I think was last Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we need I need like an invoice only including this today for me to send it to finance for them to proceed and process your payment for today's session. Because,
Just for today's, right?
just for today, because I think it was $500. The last payment is that.
Yeah, it was for last week.
Last week's. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll send you an invoice just for today.
Yeah. Depending on of our plan for the following weeks, I will like keep in touch with you and let you know like what we are going to like to do. As I said, I was very interested in involving you through the Pitmaster Challenge. That is
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Group. It could be more individualized. So I will let you know.
Cool.
Thank you, Jess.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, bye. Have a good day.